Sacrifice, an act of giving up something of value for something else that is deemed more important and worthy. Usually, sacrifice is seen as something noble or just, like a parent staying up late, foregoing sleep to take care of their sick child, or something to a religious effect, like fasting during Ramadan or giving up something for Lent. Unfortunately, there are communities across America that are being sacrificed for something not so noble and not so just, but for oil and greed. My community is one of those unfortunate communities that are being sacrificed. Port Arthur, Texas. When I was growing up, I was a very sickly child. I was diagnosed with asthma and allergies at the age of 6. And so how you treat asthma is basically by pumping the body with steroids, which means it lowered my immune system. From there, I was a petri dish, always going in and out of hospitals and doctors' offices. I even had a favorite nurse. It was ridiculous. But it wasn't just me who had asthma and suffering and couldn't breathe. It was my friends and family as well, who we were worried about all the time. But that was our life. That's what we, that was just normal for us. However, I then went off to college about 2.5 hours away from my hometown. And then my asthma started to get a little better. The asthma attacks weren't so bad. My allergies started to get a little bit better. And I was like, I've only moved 2.5 hours away from my hometown. Like, this can't be the reason. But it was, because Port Arthur, Texas is home to the largest oil refinery in the United States of America. It is owned by Saudi Arabia, and it's where the Keystone XL pipeline would have ended. Since it is such a large refinery, we're always emitting benzene and other carcinogenics into our environment all the time, which puts us at another issue on the front line of climate change. In 2005, Hurricane Rita hit my hometown. It's usually known as the Forgotten Storm because Hurricane Katrina came right before it. But what hurricanes do is that they erode that natural marshland barrier. So every time a hurricane hits, it just strips away the marsh. And the marsh is what helps soak up the water from the storm. So then Hurricane Ike hit in 2008. And then by the time Hurricane Harvey hit in 2017, that marshland was basically gone. So that water had nowhere to go but inland. And my hometown went underwater. Since no one adequately prepared for this storm, Governor Greg Abbott at the time says, since it's an act of God, go ahead and try to slowly start shutting down all of the refineries from my hometown of Port Arthur to Houston. So it was this very wide swath of all of these refineries just closing down really fast, putting all this pollution and, again, cancer-causing agents into our air, our water, our environment. We'll never know how much the environment got affected that day. However, apparently the oil companies still haven't learned their lesson. They are currently trying to lobby Congress on building a man-made barrier around the Gulf Coast area to protect their assets. But listen to that. Their assets. Not the people and not the lives that will be lost, their assets, money and oil. By current projections, my hometown will be underneath water or almost underneath water by 2100. However, all isn't lost. This is why I and my amazing coworkers are fighting what we are fighting for right now. And if our elected officials will not do their job, then we need to do their job for them. Our communities are worth fighting for.